I very satisfactorily misspent a lot of my youth in East Berlin, as it was then, in that period that was up to the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, working in the theatre. And when I got this story in its original form, I was just very struck by this notion of two Germanys and two ideas of nation. And then we went from there.
And for the actors, it is a period film, and you're playing historical figures. I'm curious if that influences your process or how you approach the role, knowing that they were...
I thought it was terribly modern.
Does it influence you at all when you're playing someone who really lived versus a purely fictional character?
Yes, and I've been lucky. I've played quite a lot of real living and dead people. And it's usually great fun. You can do the research is such fun and it's so interesting. But in this case, not a great deal known about the Kaiser. And we had to, it was beautifully written by Simon. The script was beautifully written by Simon Burke because he left us free to exercise our imagination in the end part of the film, where he must have become mellow, surely, after all that sort of pompous grandeur and blaming everybody else for his war. And I think he must have been guilty somewhat, you know, in those last lovely scenes between you, darling, the best actress in the world.
Do we have some questions from the audience? There's a mic out there. If you raise your hand, they can bring it over to you. There's some over here.
First of all, I want to thank everyone. Film, personally, for me, was very meaningful because my family is originally from Germany. And my father was born there before the war, and my grandfather actually fought for the Kaiser in the First World War. They escaped, thank God, and they were first in the Netherlands, and then they ended up in London. So much about the film resonated with me deeply. I realize it's a work of fiction, but what I was curious was, is there any truth to the visit by Himmler and to the deception, which was an attempt to flush out the monarchists and, I suppose, eliminate them by the Nazis?
Yeah, I can speak to that. That's, that visit by Himmler is not based on historical fact. What it is a fictional compression, obviously, of the moment when the Kaiser became aware of what the new Germany, or the new regime in Germany, was. Hence, you know, it became the event, the sort of axiomatic event where all the tectonic plates shift in the film. What is based in historical fact is Winston Churchill's notion of to come to London, much in the manner, obviously, that de Gaulle had been in London as head of the Free French, and one can imagine what the symbolic and psychological power of that might have been. So, although you're absolutely right, it is a fiction, it isn't a history lesson by any means, and the film, we hope, you know, I hope has resonances way beyond, as it were, the pure history of the Kaiser and Hermine and those others. But obviously it became important to have that moment in the film where we could bring the two, as it were, leviathans of two entirely different eras to face each other across the river, as it were. And that's how that came about.
I think there was another question on this side.
One of the things that I was taken by surprise was how funny this film was, and what I want played out, and